want your sweatshirt.
Me too.
Well, thank you. So I finally got some Bookwild merch made. If everyone is listening, you can go look on YouTube or in a teaser or in something here soon. But yeah, and I'm kind of interested in how many people would want to do an order. So if anyone is thinking about Bookwild sweatshirts, let me know. Other than Gare and Steph, who I'm with here today.
I think people, because to me, it is specific to you, but also if you just love reading and had never heard of this podcast, I think people would like it.
I kind of
like
think
I think
so
it has
too.
a universal appeal.
Yeah. And I was saying I might do some, like, I'd be fine doing some like white if everyone doesn't want pink. So just everyone who's interested, send me all of your opinions via DM.
I think it's also like funny too, because like a lot of people would pick up very quickly on like the play on Bookwild.
Yeah.
With Bookwild. So like a lot of people who, I mean, hopefully everyone listens to us, but like a lot of people who even like don't listen to like your podcast would be like, oh, Bookwild, like that's actually really cool, and like still get them anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to do those, and then I've been saving ones that I like that I get ads for. Like there was one that's like, this is my reading sweatshirt, and I was like, I actually kind of love that.
I like that.
I save a lot of them on Etsy too.
Yeah.
I love like the embroidered letters.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. I have an embroidered one that says bookish. It's kind of fun.
I just wanted to take off so much so you could have like everything, like visors, nipple pasties.
Right? Songs. Like, why not?
Mm-hmm. Ball gags.
Yes.
Bookwild. a little book emblem on the ball.
Upset.
Like feeding you books, kind of.
Yeah.
Does it age? I don't know if you guys think about this, but I feel like it ages me a little bit that when you said Bookwild, all I immediately thought of was Flavor of Love and how that was one of the girls' names.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys watch that with like Pumpkin in New York, obviously? And I was like, that was
one I didn't get to watch, but I heard everyone talk about it.
Oh, yeah, that was in my like prime.
That was like when reality TV, they could still like beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, I know. It was not what it is today most of the time.
Like Mob Wives. I used to love Mob Wives.
I didn't watch that one.
What was the one with Bret Michaels? I watched that one.
No. I was not there with you on that one.
I didn't like him. It was on MTV or VH1 and it just was like on, but I can't remember what that one was. But yeah, that was like my generation's.
Something Love, wasn't it?
I'm sure.
Finding Love. I don't know.
Someone got a tattoo of his name on the back of their neck and I was like, that's bold.
There's no one I would get tattooed on my body.
No. Rock of Love. It was Rock of Love.
Nice.
Of Love. God.
Anyway.
I would get Jacob Elordi tattooed all over this body.
That checks out.
Jessica Knoll, I would get tattooed all over this body. I want a Beyonce tattoo.
Sweet.
Damn. Yeah, that would be cool. Would it be like would you do like a subtle song reference or like very overtly Beyonce?
I would probably do like a Bumblebee.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Or like I would have to like really think of like one, like I would probably do like one line of like a song, but I would have to like really think on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Speaking of TV shows.
Yeah.
My icebreaker.
He's so excited.
I love when this happens. I want to ask you guys if you could say you won a contest and you could pick to be a guest star on any TV show, what TV show would you pick? Okay, I know.
For a second, I was like, "Oh, I was about to say, oh, this would be hard." I was like, "No, it's not, you dumb bitch. You know what you would do." It would be Severance for sure. And then maybe the White Lotus.
Oh, good one.
Because I'm reminded that the empire he's built with the show is so cool.
Yeah.
You guys aren't watching, right?
I haven't watched the new season yet because I'm rewatching season 1 and 2.
Oh, nice. I'm not going to say anything then.
I'm just so fucking excited for Parker Posey. I could eat my own arm.
She's fantastic.
I know.
I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, the whole family. Oh, they are wild. I love Mike White's imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clips I've seen of her parts sound amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think mine would be something with like a mockumentary feature. So either like The Office or like Abbott Elementary or something where they have like them just staring and talking at the camera or just like making a look at the camera. I love those types of shows.
Yeah, I could see you doing really well with like deadpan humor.
Oh, thank you. That is a high compliment. Thank you so much.
Could you imagine if you were like, fuck you?
Yeah.
Like took it as like a complete insult.
Yeah. No, I'm not a slapsticky kind of girl or like try too hard. It's usually got to be like more Jim from The Office kind of.
Yeah.
So I think that would probably be it.
I do love that Kate called herself a dumb bitch when she answered. She's like, no, you dumb bitch. Mine, I was going to say Euphoria because I would love to be like, I would love to just like be any, I feel like all the side characters on Euphoria have like really good, like interesting dialogue and like stories. But like now that I'm thinking about it, like I would just love to be on Tell Me Lies, and I would like to be a character that's like even bitchier than Lucy.
That would be amazing.
Like, what was her name? Okay, so there's a character who like died in the show. And I would like love to be her brother and just like rip into somebody who like was, you know, aware of the details of her death. Yes.
Like you have like this long game revenge plan.
That would
plus cool. Just like a batitude.
I would just like, even if it was just like one of those things where he was like in a grocery store and I just like saw him and was like, oh, like it's nice that you're, you know, walking amongst the living when you don't deserve to be.
Ooh, yes.
Something like that. But like obviously like
way
that
meaner Maggie Oppenheimer?
Megan?
Megan Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I think. Wait, she's like, you don't even know my name. I'm not putting you on the show.
Corolla, if you have any pull.
Yes, there we go.
Get me on the show.
Yeah, you would be great. You would be great in that.
I would love to do that. I would just like love to be like somebody like really mean.
Yeah.
What if the three of us were like a group on it and we did like that slow walk? This bitchy trio.
Oh my god, like in the movie Jawbreaker.
Yeah.
I love, there's something about a 90s like teen movie where they have like the slow bitchy walk, and I'm thinking like Jawbreaker, The Craft. The one in The Craft is so good.
Yeah.
Full body chills.
It'd be so fun.
That was a good one.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine if I was like, if you were to be a taco, what kind of taco would you be? I just like am like waiting for the day that I'm like, oh my god, you guys, I have like such a fun icebreaker, and you guys are like, that fucking sucked.
I roll, like look off the camera.
Yeah.
And then Kate sends it to us afterwards, and I'm like, oh.
I was taking it seriously there for a second. I was like, what kind of taco would I be?
I would be a spicy potato taco from Taco Bell because they are so delicious and cheap.
That's all you needed. I really don't know. I can't find, my brain can't find a parameter to like make a decision for me.
Yeah. I really generally enjoy most. So I don't know.
Good point.
True.
There's this really good place that's, what is it called? Texicano or Tex-Mex. That's what it is. Type food. And they have trigger warning, Gare. They have the best pulled pork, like slow smoked pulled pork tacos. Oh, they're so good. So good. And they put their queso on top.
Dude, if you fuck up the taco, you have an issue. It should be like good no matter what.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant by me that I like to go to, and I've never indulged in these, but they seem to be very popular amongst my friends, is pulled pork nachos.
Yes, I've had some. I haven't had those many times, but they're always so fucking good. I don't know if everyone else is hearing my dogs just launching themselves onto the futon behind me, but they just keep jumping. Like there's like 6 or 7 feet from my door to the open futon that I have for them right now so that they'll just sleep. And they're just like launching themselves from the doors like Superman style and just landing behind me. And I'm like, good God. They're on one. But speaking of things that Gare did well, he recommended the movie Femme to us. Oh my God. I watched it on the day that I couldn't even get out of bed at all. And it just like, it made me so happy because my head was starting to hurt too much to read. And I was like, what about that movie Gare said? Yeah. I am obsessed. How had neither of us heard of this sooner?
When did it come out?
2023.
Oh.
I found it on TikTok.
Okay.
And here's the thing that I'm kind of annoyed about is that like I found it on TikTok, and so I looked up where it was streaming and it said it was streaming on Hulu, but like I usually go to the movies and like the genres on the top, and I go to like the LGBTQ plus options and it's not even in there.
Really?
That doesn't make any sense.
No. So I was like, but then I like searched it and I was like, oh, like there it is. But
it is
then I bought
so
it.
Good. That was worth the buy. The one sentencer is that a drag queen named Jules is the target of like a really horrific hate crime, homophobic hate crime. And then a few weeks later, he's a drag queen. So I was saying she, but he sees the person who attacked him in a bathhouse and
plots revenge.
Yeah, I'm trying not to give away too much, but it's still worth knowing all of that.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Oh my God.
Off air, I need to ask you which sex scene was the one that was the hottest to you, because there were a lot of them. So I kept being like, is this Gare's favorite? Is this Gare's favorite? Is this Gare's favorite?
Yes. I'm obsessed with this movie cover.
The cover is beautiful. The cinematography is beautiful. Like all the lighting was so moody and like cool. But I was blown away by like, you know what's funny is like when you said toxic, I was even kind of like expecting something different. And it's not that it's not toxic. It is toxic. But I love revenge. And so then some of it for me was like, fuck yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to want to do.
It was just insane to me how well they like portray what it's like to like be around or be with a guy who's like closeted. And like all of like the things that like you like when you're in that situation, like you look back and you're like, okay, that was like insane to me that I like did that. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, make sure you walk 10 feet behind me so nobody thinks that we're together, and like weird shit like that. But there was just like so many things where I was like, I don't know if I'm like, am I in this for a revenge story or am I actually rooting for them as a couple?
That's what was wild. And I just don't want to say much because you want to watch it and go on the ride. But like what was wild to me is they make you feel like you feel just as conflicted as like Jules does throughout the process, like is the best way to say it. And it's just like, it's just fascinating. They really tackle some very cool themes.
The dialogue was like A+. And I guess it's like based on a short story, and Harris Dickinson is in the short story.
Oh, is he the?
He plays Preston.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like,
well,
oh
and I saw it was a short. It
Okay,
was a
that's
short
exactly
film.
who I like. Almost thought he looked like.
He does. He looks a little bit like him for sure.
Yeah.
They're like the same vibe. Oh, he's hot. You were so right. He
so
is
hot,
insanely hot, and the character who plays Jules is just like insanely attractive in multiple ways. That's like
ethereal. Is that how you would say it?
Yes. And then some, but then sometimes he's acting more masculine and sometimes he's more feminine, and he pulls off both. And I'm just like, holy shit, you have swag that spans the spectrum.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, there's so much. Like, it's definitely a movie that I would watch like again and again, because I feel like you would pick up more like the more you watch it. But I was just,
it's fantastic. And they fit so much character growth and arc in an hour and a half. That was the other thing that impressed me. Like, it was an hour and a half. It didn't feel like a long movie, but also by the end of it, I was like, they did all of that in an hour and a half. Like, so good.
Can I just say
another
about
for Gare.
This cover again? So I think that in another life, I would want to at least hook up with like a really like masculine looking like neck tattoo kind of guy. Yeah. Like I don't know if it would work out in the long run, but I feel like I would have to do it at least once.
Experience.
Yes.
The experience. Yeah. But then also like that contrast with like, at least on the cover, and I'm guessing throughout the movie, like this gorgeous, beautiful, opalescent, shimmery eyeshadow. Like the just look and the contrast is just like visually gorgeous. And that's only the cover. So I can't even imagine what the whole movie is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
it's beautiful.
Oh,
I DM'd the writer director because I was like, I would love to talk to you about it. And I'll let you know if he DMs back, but he has not.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I will definitely let you know, though.
There's actually, I'm trying to think. I think Harris Dickinson is in it. But there's a movie called Beach Rats.
Okay.
And it's like a drama romance. Harris Dickinson is in it. And it's kind of like this like teenager in the summer of like in like Brooklyn, and like he has a secret, obviously, which is hooking up with men. But it is such a good like unsettling emotional movie that like if you like femme, I think you would love Beach Rats.
Nice.
So that's my other recommendation. Did
you ever, I don't think you did, I forgot I pulled this up earlier, did you ever watch the other two on HBO Max? It definitely heavily parodied Justin Bieber. Like the youngest brother gets really famous, and then there is a hilarious plot line. It is so funny and awkward and confusing and just like really good for comedy. Of one of the main characters, his roommate isn't gay, but like they hook up. So there was, it was so funny in a comedy context. Like it didn't even extend very long, but when you were talking about that, it made me think of that earlier.
I think I remember. So I tried to watch it. It just,
it's comedy.
I think I kind of like fell off. It was a comedy, and I kind of like fell off from it, and then I like never picked it back up. And it also like reminds me of somebody that I like do not like. So like now I'm like, I'm not going to pick it back up. But I do think that I saw that in like one of the beginning episodes.
Yes, it was in the beginning episodes. I remember watching and being like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that feels
this feels like an attack.
This feels like you are just throwing out all my dirty laundry.
Oh man. So it's anyone who loves comedy, that is a must watch. I will say that right now. Like, you love comedy, that show to me is like, it deals with grief every now and then too. So it has some like great, like, not like life lessons, but like that kind of vibe underneath it as well. But it is written by like all SNL writers or like previous writers. So it is just so funny. And it makes so much fun of fame, which you know I love. And it's hilarious the way they do it.
I love that.
There's like, for example, this is not a spoiler. It'll just help people get the vibe of it. At one point, this kid literally looks like Justin Bieber. They give him the swoopy hair and everything. And they're like, they were thinking he was going to need to go into a PR relationship, but instead people started hypothesizing that he was depressed. And his manager with a straight face, who I think is played by Wanda Sykes, says, this is so, she was like, are you kidding me? This is so much better than a PR relationship. You have a mental health problem you can talk about. So it's like that kind of humor about fame.
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah. So there's my little plug for it.
I love like a little like a line like that about like how toxic like media can be. Like there's I think it's the 4th Scream movie, but there's like one of them where like Neve Campbell goes to her hometown and she has her publicist with her.
Oh yeah.
And 2 girls are like killed in the beginning of the movie, obviously. And like her publicist like finds out and she's like on the phone with her boss and she's like, I know, 2 girls butchered. She's like, jackpot. Like she's just like so like, oh my God, this couldn't be better timing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man, that's the best.
I can't even imagine being in that world at all.
Where you just like give no shit about like life.
Yeah, and everything is just like a spin. And then there's all of us who just absorb it. And there are people that are like so obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm just like a comments.
Oh yeah.
Person who just look and I'm like, wow, these people act like they are friends with this person. That's how much they know about this person's life. And it's all like fed to us by people like that, right?
Yeah.
Totally. So it's just like so interesting and funny.
It's basically all what Twitter is.
Yeah.
It's like just, I refuse to call it X.
Losers.
Who does, honestly?
Yeah, Elon, you can kiss my fucking whole gay ass. If you don't call it X. Doge that.
There are so many things that I wish like were more on other platforms. Like I only follow like one thing on there, but I'm like, I wish that it was on like Blue Sky or something, but it's not.
I know. Whatever, we have Bookstagram.
Yeah.
And lots of books coming out that we all need to read.
Yeah.
We have lots that we're excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not go down the hole.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, we're going to talk about spring books that we're excited for.
Yeah.
Gare's wearing a very spring. Is that yellow?
It is.
You look very spring. I love it. You dressed for the occasion.
It's probably like the one thing in my closet that's like color.
Are we going to catch us one day us all wearing like pastel crew necks or what?
Could you imagine?
It would be crazy.
Could you imagine we're all just like, we all look like little fucking Easter eggs?
I'd have to get a Bookwild brand something because I don't think I have one thing.
I mean, I haven't made anything, so I don't think so.
Kate's just going to make all of our clothes.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn into a
I hate shopping, so if you can furnish my wardrobe, that'd be great.
I love shopping. I'll do it if she doesn't want to.
Thank you.
I fucking love shopping.
Like, and do you mean, we're eventually going to talk about books, people, but do you mean that you hate in-person shopping and online? Mine is like, most of it I just do online anyway.
I don't like shopping much or spending money on clothes. So like if I find something I like, I will buy a bunch of things from that brand or line or whatever, and then like not shop for years.
Yep.
Or like I'll try and find something local, like this like Wisconsin brand I wear all the time. I'm like, I bought like 7 things from them because I'm like, oh, it's a local company. I wear it all the time. And then that's it. And like, this is AJ's old flannel. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. It doesn't fit you anymore. But I think it's also like not going to work, like working from home. You don't have to like wear clothes that
I'm right with you there.
All the time.
No hard pants and no underwires.
Yeah. I'm one of those people. I'm like, okay, what are the things I will Pinterest? Like, what are the closet basics that you have? And I'm like, okay, I have all those things and I can like mix and match them.
Same.
And that's it. Everything is like black jeans and like military green.
Sorry. What? I just cracked him up, I think.
Oh,
with no.
When we were talking about like when we were talking about like, oh, like working from home, like obviously you don't have to buy like clothes, and when Kate said like no hard pants and no underwear, I thought she said no hard pants and no underwear. So like I just like picture like Kate's like, I work from home, I only wear sweatshirts and I'm butt naked from the waist down when I work.
Like Donald ducking it all day.
That's amazing.
I legit thought you were like, no hard pants, no underwear. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that's another good one. Which was funny is I put this sweatshirt on and then Tyler turned the heat up. And so I'm actually wearing shorts with a sweatshirt right now. Is the really funny rest of that is like if I stood up, it would almost look like I was wearing that.
That is my go-to. Like I do not wear long like pajama pants or sweatpants in the winter. I only wear shorts. Even when it's like 10 degrees outside and I have to take out Murphy, I'm like, pee quick before my legs fall off because like I'm not putting on real pants.
Same. No, thank you. I love that we agree on this.
Yeah. I don't need my ankles to
Oh my God.
trapped.
Steph and I saw each other IRL for the first time last week.
Oh my God, that's right.
We didn't even talk about that part yet. Oh my gosh, and you read the favorites and you loved it too.
Oh my God, I
did. The reason that Kate and I saw each other was because we saw Lane Fargo, who like was near in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And then Gare read Lane Fargo's The Favorites. Like, what a perfect thing.
I know.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun. And then
you died.
And then I died, and I haven't been able to edit this vlog together that I really want to edit it together because Steph said some funny stuff too.
The clip was really good to post.
It was so fun. It was so cool. And getting to see Lane, it was just like, she's so cool. It just
God, is there any genre she cannot do?
I don't know.
Right?
But she wore all black with like this sparkly, like over, like kind of coat mini blazer thing. And I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. It was like so perfectly her, but for The Favorites. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The world's tiniest venue, but hey, it was fun.
It was fun.
I think there were 35 tickets sold, so it was like, and it was like very full.
Packed.
So it was like a very small like distillery. So that's cool that she chose like a small business to support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the bomb.
I love her. Seriously. I love her so much.
I know.
That book
is... And she like walked in like right after we did, and we were all like crammed in there, and she was like, oh! And I like never want to assume that someone completely remembers me. Not that I'm assuming she would have like forgotten the podcast, but I never want to be like, oh, you're gonna remember me so much that in a crowd you'll notice me. So I was like, I'll just play it cool. And then she's like, I can't believe you're here. I was like, okay, she doesn't know who I am.
Oh my God. Oh.
And then she wanted to take a selfie to make Hallie jealous. And so she was like, Kate, take a selfie with me so I can send it to Hallie. I want to make her jealous. I was like, this is adorable.
Hallie needs to come to the Midwest.
I know. Or we need to go to LA.
I need to move to the Midwest, I feel like.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
if you live in Chicago, you'll be right between Steph and I.
I know. Well,
Chicago scares me.
Okay, well, don't do that then.
I watch all of those Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD shows, and I'm like traumatized. I just want to live in like a little suburb, like a cul-de-sac with Murphy.
Oh, okay.
And I want like a hot single like widow dad neighbor.
The place where I saw Lisa Jewell was like on the west side of Chicago suburbs, and it was a cool little town.
Nice. Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, if you'd ever really consider.
Imagine like next week, I'm like, I bought a house.
That would be so cool.
Regardless where it is, we would come visit.
Oh yeah, Avi.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
That would be so fun.
It's gonna be so cool. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this one, speaking of Hallie, was one that she told me about, and I immediately requested it on NetGalley. It's called Glitter in the Dark by Olesya Liuzna, I'm so sorry, Alessia. I don't know how to say your last name. Ambitious advice columnist Jenny Dugan knows she's capable of more than solving other people's beauty problems, but her boss at Photoplay magazine thinks she's only fit for fluff pieces. When she witnesses the kidnapping of a famous singer at Harlem's hottest speakeasy, nobody takes her seriously. But Jenny knows what she saw, and what she saw haunts her. Guilt-ridden over her failure to stop the kidnappers and hard-pressed for cash to finally move out of her uptight showgirl sister's apartment, Jenny resolves to chase down the truth that will clear her conscience and maybe win her a promotion in the process. When private detective Jack Crawford starts interfering with her case, Jenny ropes him into a reluctant partnership, but soon finds herself drawn to the kind heart she glimpses beneath his brooding exterior. Equally as alluring is Gloria Gardner, the star dancer of the Ziegfeld Follies, who treats life like one unending party. Yet, as Jenny delves deeper into the criminal underworld, the sinister plot she uncovers seems to lead right back to the theater. Then a brutal murder strikes someone close to her, and Jenny realizes the stakes are higher than she ever imagined. This glamorous world has a deadly edge, and Jenny must shatter her every illusion to catch the shadowy killer before they strike again. I made it. I made it through it.
I just entered the giveaway on Goodreads.
Oh, you're right. I just saw that too. The cover is so cool.
The cover is very cool.
I'm pretty sure Hallie said it was kind of like, think like a Gatsby noir. And I was like, I'm sold. I feel like it'll be I'm hoping it'll be similar to how I enjoyed Last Night at the Hollywood Canteen, something like that. So I'm excited for this one.
That sounds really good. I love the cover.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Dang.
Gary, you want to go next?
Sure. I'd love to.
Do the one that you don't want someone to steal really badly.
Good call.
I'm saving that one for last.
Oh, okay.
So my first one is called Count My Lies by Sophie Stava, and it comes out March 4th. So it's actually really soon. But the publicist that sent this to me is like, oh my God, I love this so much. I'm so excited to hear what you think of it. Like, I do not care when you read this. Just like, tell me what you like think of it when you do, because like she loved it so much and she thinks I'm going to love it. So now I'm really excited for it. Okay. Okay. Sloane Caraway is a liar. Harmless lies mostly to make her self-proclaimed sad little life a bit more interesting. When Sloane sees a young girl in tears at a park one afternoon, she can't help herself. She tells the girl's very attractive dad she's a nurse and helps him pull a bee stinger from the girl's foot. With this lie and chance encounter, Sloane becomes the nanny for the wealthy and privileged Jay and Violet Lockhart, the perfect New York couple with a brownstone, a daughter in private school, and summers on Block Island. But maybe Sloane isn't the only one lying, and all that picture-perfect harbors is much more dangerous truth. To say anything more is to spoil the most exciting, twisting, and bitingly smart suspense novel to come out in years. So
I've been seeing this around and it looks so good.
I'm obsessed with the cover. Yeah. And it says it's a read in one night suspense thriller, which like is just right up my alley.
Yeah.
But I also apologize to like anybody who's ever met me after a few cocktails, but like when I encounter strangers, I love to lie to them to see like what I can get away with when I'm drinking. Like that's my little like beige flag.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that about you.
It is fun though. I feel like some people do that.
When my friend Nicole and I lived in Boston, like we would get a taxi and like they would be like, oh, like where are you guys coming from? And like we would just be like at a bar, like having drinks or whatever. And I would be like, oh, like we were just like meeting with the wedding planner, like we're gonna get married, like we like are gonna have like a champagne. And I would like be so naturally good at it when I'm drinking, like dead sober, I cannot lie to save my life, like whatever. But like drunk Gare is like Amy Dunn.
Yeah.
Beware.
So this might be the book that I'm like, I'm never lying tipsy ever again.
Right. Ooh. It also, when I got the email about it, they said it is like a feminine, talented Mr. Ripley. was what they told me. So there's that.
Ooh, I love that.
I knew I had seen it somewhere, so I pulled it up. I was like, what was that comp that they mentioned?
Yeah. I'm just really excited for it. I think I might read it this weekend.
You should.
It sounds really good.
So I'm doing mostly books that I've read already that are coming out in this spring, and that I really recommend people either pre-ordering or putting on hold at the library. And the first one was one of my 5-star reads from January when I read it, and I think it will be a surprise to no one that everyone in our little trio really enjoyed This Book Will Bury Me by Ashley Winstead. It's the most famous crime in modern history, but only she knows the true story. After the unexpected death of her father, college student Jane Sharp longs for a distraction from her grief. She becomes obsessed with true crime, befriending armchair experts who teach her how to hunt killers from afar. In this morbid internet underground, Jane finds friendship, purpose, and even glory. So when news of the shocking deaths of 3 college girls in Delphine, Idaho takes the world by storm and sleuths everywhere race to solve the crimes, Jane and her friends are determined to beat them. But the case turns out to be stranger than anyone expected. Details don't add up. The police are cagey, and there seems to be more media hype and internet theorizing than actual evidence. When Jane and her sleuths take a step closer, they find that every answer only begs more questions. Something's not adding up, and they begin to suspect their killer may be smarter and more prolific than they've ever faced before. Placing themselves in the center of the story starts to feel more and more like walking into a trap. Told 1 year after the astounding events that concluded the case and left the world reeling, when Jane has finally decided to break her silence about what really happened, she tells the story of the Delphine massacres, and what she has to confess will shock even the most seasoned true crime fans. So folks who love like the book within a book, I think will like this. I think it's a really intelligent and emotionally gripping story. Like the beginning talks about like why she gets into the case of the death of her father, and it's like Ashley Winstead, so she writes it in the most gorgeous, like you can feel it, and it's beautiful. And so if you like thrillers that also like tug at your heartstrings, I think it's a good fit.
I second all of that.
Yeah.
And for folks who are like, I'm not sure how I feel about reading a book about something that like also happened in Idaho that happened not that long ago, I encourage you to visit Ashley's Instagram page, because she does address that, and I believe it will be an author's note in the book. Yes. And I personally hope it goes in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because she does address that and why she chose it, and it's very personal to her. So I recommend checking that out, because I think it did like comfort a lot of people to know that that was very intentional.
I also like want to say, just to like stick up for Ashley, like there are so many books that are loosely based on like Ted Bundy and the Golden State Killer, and so many other things that like even like cases that are like unsolved. So like the fact that she like has something similar in her book, which like when you read the book you're going to find out is completely different than like the true Idaho case, but like the fact that there were like people like already like hating on it but like have like liked those other books, it's like let's not be too hypocritical and just like read the book before you come up with your own. Even if you borrow it from the library and you don't want to buy it, like it is what it is, but like let's just like calm down a little bit on like specifically going after a person, let alone a woman, for shit that like men have done too, that you've probably gobbled up their books. So like pipe down, read the book, and then have an opinion.
And one of the most like brilliant, well-intentioned, yes, thank you, like she is. If you've ever like watched any interview or like read the Ask the Author pieces at the back of Ashley's books, like she's so smart, she's so intentional. Like would she ever do anything without thinking about it?
No.
I think this is her longest book too.
go on a similar soapbox as you, Gare, because I was realizing, because I read an LA noir earlier this week, and like, you would absolutely, in describing this book, you could comp like the Harvey Weinstein case. It even mentions Me Too. And so even as I was reading that, I was like, why, like, no one's freaking out about this. No one's like, this is this, and like Harvey hasn't paid for his crimes and men haven't been stopped in Hollywood, so you can't write a book about it. I'm like, we don't hold the standard across the board. So it's an interesting choice to be that worked up about.
Yep.
I also think like the crime in Ashley's book isn't even like the main focus. Right. It's more about like the like toxicity of like the true crime community, the people that do good in the true crime community, like what it can do to people that are like grieving or going through things in life, or like loneliness. So like that's not even like the most like important part. Like I wouldn't even like necessarily describe this as like a whodunit. You know what I mean? But like I also just think that like you would definitely should read it before like you have an opinion, because when I was reading it,
especially if you're an Ashley Winstead fan, like read it.
Yeah. Because when I was reading it, I was like, oh, like I can see like some similarities here, and then there were other things that happened that I was like, this isn't even like, I can see where it's like something that she got the idea from, but it's not even like close to being, you know, what's actually going on. So
I was telling Kate, I was like, sometimes I think there are folks that struggle getting beyond the surface of things. For example, with Ashley's last book, like people that are like, oh, it's just like a Twilight fan book. And I was like, it is so much more than that. And like what Twilight represented in that book was so much deeper than that. And I'm like, is she like the Kendrick Lamar of books, where people are like, I just don't get it, so I'm going to hate on it. And I was like, so much deeper than that. It's like art, but it's also a book, you know?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So anyways,
Ashley,
I highly recommend
it. Heard it here, the Kendrick Lamar of thrillers.
True. But like also people like, she even like said that like The Last Housewife was like loosely based on like the Sarah Lawrence sex scandal, and like people were like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah. I know. That's like, I think it's Nikki Glazer's joke. Nikki Glazer has a joke where she's like, it's kind of a weird thing being a comedian these days, because like there's certain things you can joke about and certain things that you can't. And like, she's like, so some people will be like, it's okay, I can make jokes about that because I'm whatever. And she was like, and that's why I'm gonna do a joke about rape. And everyone gets like really quiet, and she's like, don't worry, I can do it because I've been raped. And she's like, now don't you all feel so much better and feel like I can tell this joke? Aren't you all like, thank God she was raped?
Yeah, right.
I was like, that's such a good flip of explaining like how silly it is that people will be like, oh, thank God you were raped, you can talk about it then.
Yeah, you've earned it. Oh my God.
People.
And that's a very sarcastic comment that I just said, by the way.
Fucking same. I mean,
get that out of context, please.
So yeah, just don't freak out, people. It's okay. It's okay.
And it's damn good. So
it's so good.
It's long, but it's good. I think it has a lot of dialogue in it. So like it goes quickly.
Yeah. And like the chat rooms are, that goes fast too.
Oh my God. I can't wait to read it again.
It's so good. Yeah, I don't have a segue for my next one. My next one is called Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Wang. Here it is. I don't know if this is Enka, Enka. So I'm gonna say Enka meets Matilda in art school. Matilda is a dizzyingly talented yet tortured artist who stars on the rise, and Enka, struggling to make art that feels original, is immediately drawn to her. The two strike up an intense bond that soon turns codependent. But when Matilda's fame reaches new heights, Enka becomes desperate to keep her best friend close, no matter the cost. Anka quickly falls in love with and marries a billionaire whose family's company is funding an unconventional technology purported to heighten empathy, which would allow someone else to inhabit Matilda's mind and absorb the trauma from her brain. Soon the boundaries between Matilda and Anka begin to blur even further, setting in motion a disturbing series of events that forever changes their lives. Blisteringly smart, thought-provoking, and shocking, Immaculate Conception deftly navigates big questions of art, technology, authorship, and what makes us human.
Wow.
Dang. That cover's fucking sick, too.
Yeah, that cover is so cool. You guys have to go look at it. It's very cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it's like horror, sci-fi, and thriller. And I'm like, spectacular. Give me 14 of them, essentially.
It kind of reminds me of the other Black girl.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it kind of has that, like, unsettling plot.
Dude, they're doing a second season of that.
Are they?
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard about it in a while, but they were.
Yeah. Dang.
That's cool. They canceled it.
Oh. Fake news.
Take that out. Don't trust me. It was December of 2024 when they canceled it, so I'm not too far behind, but I was wrong.
I hate it.
When was that? Last summer? I don't even remember when that was on.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember you guys listening to a podcast about you guys talking about it.
It was. I loved the TV adaptation.
I think that heightening empathy is pretty timely. Hey.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Well, my next one comes out April 15th. I apologize. The synopsis is really long.
That's okay.
Bring it.
But this probably sounds like the most like bleakest, emotionally traumatizing book that I'm going to read in 2025. So I am like so fucking pumped for it. It is called The Death of Us by Abigail Dean. And let's see here. Late on a summer's evening when they are 30 years old, husband and wife Edward and Isabel's home is invaded by a serial killer. Theirs was a classic story of young love that moved into true partnership, but their solid foundation implodes at the wake of this violence. At 58, they are reunited for their tormentor's trial and forced to confront their lifelong love, the secrets, passions, and encounters that bind them still. Isabel has waited years for the man who nearly ended her life to be caught. As she tracked the news of his increasingly violent criminal life, she connected with other survivors and prepared for the moment that she'd get to read her victim impact statement for the court. She is sure she'll speak her truth and finally let the past go. Edward has spent the years since the break-in and the breakdown of his marriage trying to figure out how a near miss with death killed so much else in their shared life. Unlike Isabel, he's not eager to relive these terrible memories. Even though he's moved on, he's remarried, his old life almost unrecognizable to him now, he can't resist accompanying Isabel to their intruder sentencing. What would revenge or justice feel like? Can closure set as Isabel free? And what might that freedom mean for Edward? Oh my god, it's gonna be so good, but so sad, I feel like.
That cover is so like moody and dramatic and wonderful.
Oh my god.
Did you guys read Girl A by her?
I have not, no.
I haven't either. I thought you had, because you told me about it, Gare, but I think maybe we were just both talking about it.
I think that I had heard about it.
Yeah.
And like it was like on my TBR, and then like I just didn't get to it.
I actually, because I bought it after we talked about it. It was a while ago. I just saw it in my Kindle library. So I'm like, that needs to be one of my backlist ones this year.
Yeah.
But this one sounds really good.
This sounds so freaking sad. Like, there's something to me about, like, obviously, if something horrific happens to you and you survive, that is the ultimate goal. And, like, I'm happy for you. But, like, there's something about, like, something happening to somebody at, like, 30 years old and, like, still not being, like, taken care of, or like you're still dealing with it 28 years later, that like I just can't wait to read this one.
I'm excited for you.
I can't wait to be emotionally devastated. So
the blurb from Stephen King is really nice. A page turner par excellence, written with unobtrusive brilliance and full of sharply observed lines. The death of us lives up to the hype. I love some sharply observed lines, man. My next one, I think I might have talked about it on here before, but oh well. I recommend Marley Bush's sophomore novel, Whispers of Dead Girls. So she had written a book last year, and I am struggling to remember what it was called. Mother. I'll look in my feedback.
When She Was Me.
Oh, When She Was Me. So I was excited because When She Was Me and this book, I will get to the synopsis, but she has like a really strong like foreshadowing that you in both books where like something happened in the past, and then that it connects to the present, and it's just like in tension. It's a lot of tension, in my opinion. So anyways, I know you're like, what happened? What is going to happen? Like you keep referencing it. Okay, she's right. It can never happen again. She won't let it. 10 years have passed, and Wren Taylor is back at square one, having accepted a job at her old high school. She had hoped to make peace with the past, but now she's thrust back into it. Her murdered teenage sister is still immortalized in town, and Wren can't stop seeing her everywhere she goes. She's dogged by the scandal that ruined her childhood and killed her sister. Then Wren meets physics teacher Bryson Lewis. Handsome and charismatic, all of the teachers and the students seem to fall at his feet. But Wren knows men like him. She knows they can't be trusted. The more Wren watches him, the more suspicious she becomes. And when she notices his close relationship with a girl in one of his classes, a girl just like her sister, she worries history is about to repeat itself. This time, she won't sit back and watch another girl be taken before her time. This time, Wren will do what she must to save her, even if it means revealing her own darkest secrets. This one's wild because like there's this main character that you're kind of like questioning her decisions, but you're also like understanding why she's so mad and like why she cares so much. But you're just like, I don't know, girl. Like the whole time. And that's kind of a fun feeling.
I am so fucking excited that you talked about this one because I am so pumped to read it, and I can't wait to read it. And the fact that you loved it, I'm just so goddamn excited.
I'm glad. I think it'll be interesting to hear what you think about it. I think the ending, there will be some discussion available.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Oh my God, I need to go request it. Because you guys both loved her first one, right?
Did you read her first one?
I didn't read her first one. I have it. I'm looking at it right now.
So just stuff. I couldn't remember. I need to.
I was sitting there being like, what is happening? Like, what is the situation here? Like, and there's probably some people that like hate that. And
I love it.
Like, what do you keep referencing? Like, come on.
Oh, I love that too.
I love it. As long as it's not done in the like dun 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 like every cheesy other paragraph.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, there is kind of a lot of like that night, and sometimes you're okay, just that's like get on with it. What happened?
Yeah.
Okay. But like still, it's just kind of like, oh, all right.
Dang.
Oh, you got my attention, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I actually just got a copy of this one on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought I saw it in your post.
Yeah. I got that, and I got like the new Frida and a couple other goodies from them.
I need to pre-order it. Have a copy.
It's so nice of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're like, if I could get a job working for a publisher, I would work for Poison Press.
Oh my God, yes.
They like everything that they publish like always like lands very well with me. Mm-hmm. And like they're also like the nicest people to like talk to and like email, and like they always like share everybody's posts on social media, and I just think that they're like super super kind.
And they're Mysterious Bookshop, right? That's like what they're housed kind of through. That's cool. I'm gonna do that one day.
Yeah, they have some hits.
Well, my next one is called 1,000 Natural Shocks by Omar Hussein. I'm so sorry. In this dazzling debut is a mesmerizing meditation on trauma, memory, and identity wrapped in a high-octane thriller. Dash, a reporter in Monterey, California, is desperate to outrun his past. During the day, he investigates the reemergence of a long-dormant serial killer. At night, he has become entangled with a criminal cult that promises a pill to erase his traumatic memory. But as Dash begins to lose his memories and his sense of self, he discovers a dark secret about the cult, one that would horrify its members. And soon he finds himself in a race against time to evade the cult, unveil the killer, and reconcile his past before his own memories fade away. What? More mystery, thriller, fiction, sci-fi for me.
That sounds like something I could get into too.
When I read it, I was like, this might be the perfect kind of sci-fi for Gare and I to read together, especially with the serial killer.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about this? Because there's like not a lot of reviews yet on
the cover literally grabbed my attention on NetGalley.
Oh.
Dang.
Yeah. I was like, that looks like something I'd be into. And then I read the description.
Well, yeah, it does. Yeah,
I feel like this would be another one for like fans of Severance. Not that it's like Severance, but it's like it's Severance coded, like everything in my life.
No, that sounds like the perfect book for
you.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm excited.
And your theme so far is like fucking stunning covers.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, that's how, it is how I found out about this one, because it literally has 2 ratings, like you're saying, Steph, on Goodreads.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds really good.
I agree. We're all yawning. Steph, it's your turn.
Not there yet. Probably soon.
Well, if you're looking for a book that sounds like something that I'm going to be addicted to and is probably going to be majority of my personality for the rest of the year, then we are talking about The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers, which comes out on May 6th. I'm so pumped for this one because I freaking loved All Good People Here. So this one is about Nicole Nick Monroe, who's in a rut. At 24, she lives alone in a dinky apartment in her hometown of Mishawaka, Indiana. I hope I said that right.
You did.
Is it? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Mishawaka.
She just gotten a DWI, and she works the same dead-end job that she's been working since high school, a job that she only has because her boss is a family friend and feels sorry for her. Everyone has felt sorry for her for the last 7 years, since the day her older sister Casey vanished without a trace. On the night Casey went missing, her car was found over 100 miles from home. The driver's door was open and her purse was untouched in the seat next to it. The only real clue in her disappearance was Jules Connor, another woman from the same area who disappeared in the same way 2 weeks earlier. With so little for the police to go on, both their cases eventually went cold. Nick wants nothing more than to move on from her sister's disappearance and the state it's left her in. But then one day, Jules' sister, Jenna Connor, walks into her life and offers Nick something she hasn't felt in a long time: hope. What follows is a gripping tale of 2 sisters who will do anything to find their missing halves, even if it means destroying everything they've ever known. Bleak as book.
Oh my gosh. It's so cool that I'm not saying I need more thrillers in Indiana, because I get it. But it is cool, because I was like, when you said the Mishawaka part, I was like, because the other one, her first one took place in Wakarusa, Indiana, and they're 18 minutes apart. So that's kind of cool. Kind of staying in the same region.
I'm really excited for it.
Is she from there?
Yeah, she lives here.
Oh, nice.
Did you ever run into her?
I want to.
I love this cover. It kind of gives me like a little bit.
because I was going to try to reach out to her and be like, would you do an in-person podcast with me? Because like that, we live in the same state. That would be pretty fucking huge. Yeah. I also haven't gotten the request on NetGalley though either.
No, mine was sitting there forever.
Yeah, mine's been there for months. So we'll see. I'm still holding out hope. And I'm excited to read it. I really liked her first one. That was, you know what? That first one, All Good People Here, was another one where people got lit up in some of the reviews about it being close to another true crime. And I'm like, guys, we live in this world. Like, art is inspired by life and like what happens. This is not that big of a deal, but people were getting all hung up on that too.
Were they comparing it to JonBenet?
Yes.
I was, like, as you were reading it, I was like, which one is this gonna get like slammed into?
Yes. Yeah. And I get it, but I loved her writing. I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I did too. Especially for somebody whose job is to literally like discuss like so many true crime cases. It's kind of like, how do you not have any? And like, nothing against it, but like, as much as it sucks, there are people that unfortunately kill children every day. There are people that abduct children every single day. There are teenage girls who are like the cheerleaders who go missing or found murdered every single day. And like, it is so unfortunate, but like, you can't compare those cases to everything fictional. Otherwise, like, what are you gonna do? You know?
And to your point, like, there's more than JonBenet Ramsey. That's just the one that you happen to know about. So it's like,
I didn't even compare the two, honestly.
I didn't while I was reading. I didn't notice it until I saw the reviews, and I was like, oh, I can't believe I didn't think of it, but I didn't.
Yeah, and I think that there's something to be said about like wanting to read, and I'm not saying like we read thrillers, so like obviously we find really like shitty things happening to people entertaining in fiction, but it's like if true crime is your jam and you are so tight on the details that you're gonna go into a fictional book and like nitpick at it, like maybe you shouldn't read fiction. You should just read true crime.
True.
There you go.
Because it seems like it's not enjoyable for you.
True.
No.
You're gonna like
well, and if you wanted, and I don't think this, but if you wanted to flip it, like when you're getting entertained off of true crime, that's what people's actual lives.
Yeah.
And like we're reading fiction, like chill out.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like tricky.
And there are so many people out there who like there's so many people out there who have made money from like the real death of JonBenet Ramsey, the real death of the Idaho 4 students. So when like somebody is doing it in a fictional way and like you are grasping at straws to compare it, like I don't think that this person who wrote a fictional story is the one that you need to be coming after.
Nope.
Because I guarantee you, if you were related to or knew somebody who was like very dear to your heart and something horrible happened to them in Hulu, or somebody was like making a shitload of money off from a documentary about it, like you would not be going after a fictional author who had a story that was like similar to whatever happened to somebody you cared about.
Right.
So stay in
That's
your lane.
what's up, people.
Sometimes I'm like, what if you put your efforts and rage into something productive? Like, I wonder what could happen.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot takes coming in hot.
I just know that most of the people that are like bitching about things like this have like a little red hat on their head.
No, totally.
I don't know.
Tell me 5 things you did last week.
Oh my
Other than
God.
bitch on the internet.
Oh my God. But Hillary's emails were the problem.
Kate, was that yours or Gare, was that yours?
That was me.
That was you. Okay.
Indiana Gare.
I know.
Is it okay to talk about one we just talked about last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
because
Megan
I know that
Collins
now I'm
showed up 3 weeks in a row. So
Which one?
Because it was Megan Collins, because it was Gare, Hallie, and then Gare, like on different subjects. So yes, go for it.
Kate, did you finish Don't Tell Me How to Die?
Yes.
Okay. So now we've all read it. Love when
Yes.
that happens. I honestly, I'm waiting. There was the one I was gonna do. I just want to make sure it's not the one Gare was. So
You're so scared that you
I
took
just
his prize
go with
one.
this one because it's also super good. But I will put an encore out for Don't Tell Me How to Die by Marshall Karp. It is a unique and really
It is
emotional, smart book. So I have one thing to do before I die, and time is running out. I had it all, a fantastic husband, 2 great kids, an exciting career. And then at age 43, I found out I would be dead before my next birthday. My mother also died at 43. I was 17 and she warned me that women would flock to my suddenly single father like stray cats to an overturned milk truck. They did. And one absolutely evil woman practically destroyed his life, mine, and my sister's. I'm not letting that happen to my family. I have 3 months and I plan to spend every waking minute searching for the perfect woman to take my place as Alex's wife and mother to Kevin and Katie. You're probably thinking she'll never do it. Did I mention that in high school I was voted most likely to kill someone to get what she wants? From thriller writer Marshall Karp, co-creator with James Patterson, blah, blah, blah. It's rich with Sharp's deft array of 3-dimensional characters and his signature biting humor. Well, maybe I need to read more by Marshall Karp.
That's how I felt.
And biting humor.
He's written so many books, and then I read that part that this was his signature humor, and I was like, well, then I need all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So I personally listened to this one. I am obsessed. January LaVoy is my favorite narrator, probably ever. She is incredible at like doing different voices without it sounding like cheesy and weird. So if you are an audiobook fan, I highly recommend that format. I know that Gare and Kate read physical copies or ebooks.
Yeah, so, we did.
And
did you read it, Gare, or did you have a copy? We all did different things. I digitally read it, you audiobooked it, and Gare physical read it. I don't know if that's how I should explain all of that, but I think everyone knows what I meant.
All formats accounted for.
Remember, like, I was so intimidated because like it's kind of a chunker, and I was like it didn't. I was like very intimidated because I felt like it was like chunky. Like anything over 350, I consider like a little chunky monkey. Mm-hmm. So like when I got it, I was like, ooh, like that's gonna be like a little bit for me to get into. And then like I just like picked it up on like a school night, I call them, and like I could not put it down. I was like, why would I do that to myself?
It was so good. It legit got me through having to just stay in bed.
Yeah. It made me want to stay in bed alone for once.
I would say like the last 20%. So usually when I'm listening to something, it's like I'm driving or I'm cleaning. Like I can't do it while I'm working or emailing or whatever. So I have to be very picky about when I can do it. But I remember just like, I was like, okay, I only have 10%, 20% left. And I just sat on my couch and listened. So like, I think that just kind of goes to show that you're like, no, I want to sit and pay attention and I will wait for all the other things I have to do to finish this book.
Uh-huh.
So, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like broken up, right? Into like
3 parts.
3 parts. Yeah. I remember getting to part 3 and like physically stopping myself because I was like, I'm going to read part 3 in one sitting. Like I'm not going to.
It's like the shortest one, and it is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
The characters feel so real.
Yeah.
Everyone felt real. The town felt real. I loved it.
I put this in my review, but for people who like reading like family dramas, so for example, like Tracy Lang's like What Happened to the McRae, like We Are the Brennans, like it felt like a family drama for so much, and you're like, wow, is this like a mystery. Like there's some dramatic things happening, some like juicy stuff, but you're like, I think this is a thriller. And then you're like, all of a sudden you're like, it all makes sense. And it's so cool.
It's kind of like, what was that term we learned? Psychological drama until the end, and then it turns into a thriller.
Yeah.
There were also like very like many like little reveals that were happening that I was like, oh, okay, like I wasn't expecting that, because like we're not in like the thrillery part of the story yet. And then I was like, oh my god, like I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
So it was very, very, very cool. And his dialogue is like probably the best.
Amazing.
Ever.
Yeah.
So good.
I legit said in my review something about Gilmore Girl style dialogue, like how snappy it is.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you get this feeling that the main character, the narrator, I should say, protagonist, is like kind of a goody, but then like I'm like, oh, I don't know. And you're just kind of like, I like her. I don't know.
Yes. I agree.
Her sister reminded me of like my friendship with my friend Nicole.
Oh.
Where like the sister was like very like sarcastic and like snippy, and like that would be me in like my friendship with Nicole, because she's like the nicer one. But I was just like dying how like they had like that relationship, and I absolutely loved the sister.
Yeah. I'm like, he has to have like siblings or something that they like have that kind of banter together, because I feel like you can't just make that shit up.
I know.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest women I've read recently. Just reading them like a 70-year-old white man.
I know. Like, what?
Like, what is happening? I mean, it's a good thing though.
Yeah.
So I would say even if you're like, I don't know if I'm into thrillers, like this is a really great, and like I think even someone in that, like dipping my toes in, I'm not really sure why you're listening to this podcast necessarily, but like I think it would work for someone it's really universally recommendable, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I would even say, even if you are like on like vice versa, like if you are a thriller fan who doesn't think that you're going to like the like family drama aspect of it, like I think that you should still give it a chance, because I'm not typically somebody that would read like a family drama, but like I was like, when the thriller aspect kicked in, I was like, oh shit, that's right, like we're like I should have expected this, but like it was so good.
Agreed. Good point.
So good. I'm not gonna say anything else because I'll start spoiling stuff. Because I loved it so much. But my next one is called The Memory Collectors by Det Meserve. Dete is her name, and apparently I don't know how to pronounce my author's names today, but I saw this, I got an email about this, comping it to Wrong Place, Wrong Time and The Paradox Hotel, which I happened to talk about last week when we recorded, or last time we recorded. And I was like, well, that's one of my favorite books of all time, so request. Or I guess they sent it to me, so I accepted it. What would you do if you could spend an hour in your past? 4 strangers in the beach town of Ventura, California are about to find out. Elizabeth aches for one more precious hour with her son who died in a senseless accident. Andy is desperate to find his first love, who vanished after a whirlwind romance. Logan craves the rush of surfing and mountain climbing, yearning to reclaim the freedom he lost after a misstep landed him in a wheelchair. And Brooke is looking for an hour of relief from the guilt of an unforgivable mistake. After Eon Expeditions, the groundbreaking time travel invention of Mark Saunders, which allows some lucky clients the chance to spend an hour in their past. Even though Eon's technology ensures time travel can't alter the future, all 4 clients, including Mark's ex-wife Elizabeth, yearn to revisit the hour that changed their lives forever. But when their hour extends beyond 60 minutes, they find themselves stranded in the past. As their paths intertwine unexpectedly, they unearth shocking secrets hidden in the shadows of their shared lives.
There's a typo there.
Yeah, there is. Okay, all their lives were shattered the same night on a secluded highway by the beach. As they delve into the hidden truths of that pivotal hour, a startling revelation emerges. They were not alone. Someone else was present, harboring deadly intentions. And it says this is a heart-wrenching, genre-bending novel brimming with hope, grief, and second chances.
That sounds really good.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think I could digest that type of yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a really intriguing concept. Because then what would you do if you were stuck there? It kind of reminds me of the show. There's a show on Netflix called Maniac. It's like a relatively similar premise where it's like a company. I think it can help you remove memories you don't want to have anymore. So then it's like all of these people are meeting to do the trial. And they're all like traumatized by something, and then they all figure something out. So that's why it's reminding me of it.
That also reminds me of 9 Perfect Strangers, the show based on the and that's such an interesting concept. Like, I mean, that one it's different with like microdosing and stuff like that, but like I think it creates really interesting conversations in real life of like, I know people that were like, I would totally do that. And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I was just like, I don't know if I would do that. And so it's like it's a really interesting conversation starter.
Yeah.
Topic.
Why is Gare smirking?
I would. Fuck yeah, 100%. I would go back in time, change some shit. I would delete people out of my life. I would delete people out of my memories. I would just go back. I would. Let me tell you what. Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. A lot. So I'm curious. Like, so you can pick which hour you want, then, right? Like,
I think so.
Like, okay, that makes sense.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think if I had lost someone that I really loved, I would maybe feel that way. But there's not a ton in my past that I'm like wanting to go back to. But that's
personal, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess that's for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like with 9 Perfect Strangers, I was like Nicole Kidman, the main character. I have not read the book, but I'm like, she tried so hard to get there and she couldn't get there. Yeah. You know? And so I'm like, what's the risk reward here? And I'm sure that's what this book is about too.
Right.
It's very fascinating.
I agree. Yeah. And it reminded me of Leanne Moriarty too. That's interesting that you brought up 9 Perfect Strangers, because it also kind of reminded me of her, like, I haven't read it, the new one, where it's like the idea, like they find out when they're going to die, like everyone on a plane hear one moment, I think.
Yeah.
But it was kind of reminding me of that, where it's like a intriguing concept with an ensemble cast and like some like core question at the center of it. So I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see how it goes.
For sure.
I am too. And again, cover stunning.
The cover is very cool.
Yeah.
Very time travel-y.
California boardwalk time travel.
Whew.
Yeah.
I love a boardwalk.
I don't think I've ever been on one.
Let's go.
Let's all meet at the boardwalk.
Let's do it.
For it. Well, if you want to get a little bleak,
we know you do.
So this is our fourth, right? This is the last one.
Yeah. May 13th, 1 in 4 by Lucinda Berry comes out.
Ooh.
I am so excited for it. It's probably Dr. Lucinda Berry sent me a message on Instagram and was like, Happy Valentine's Day or whatever. And I turned my Kindle on and there was a copy of 1 in 4 in my Kindle.
Oh.
So she sent me an arc of it. I'm still pre-ordering my paperback copy for the collection. This one is about Dr. Laurel Harlow. She cannot believe that she agreed to do a reality TV show, but her years as a chemical dependency counselor and personal history with the show's director make her the obvious choice. Treating a mansion full of former child stars on the road to recovery is the tallest order of her career, especially when one of them turns up dead while the cameras are still rolling. In a house full of narcissists vying for the spotlight, everyone's hiding something, including Laurel. An investigation could expose a past she'd rather keep buried. But among the attention-starved patients, only one of them is a predator. And Laurel is skilled at spotting a predator when she sees one. As she hunts a killer in her present, the unsettling truths of Laurel's past are forced into the light. But this time she'll face her demons head on. She'll stop at nothing to expose a murderer, even if it means risking everything she holds dear.
I'm so intrigued by this one. Because it's kind of like, what was that? Was it called Celebrity Rehab? Like, what was the show where they rehabbed celebrities?
Yeah.
It's making me think of that, but a thriller.
There's also, like, if you are like a lot of people in my situation that like found a lot of Lucinda Berry's books through TikTok this year, and you're diving into her backlist, her book, One of Our Own, which is an audiobook original, is actually coming out on Kindle and paperback on April 1st.
Ooh, that's exciting.
So if you're like, oh, I want to read more by Lucinda Berry, you have a new book in April and a new book in May. So
that's amazing. Oh yeah, I do remember seeing this audiobook.
I saw a bunch of people post about it the other day.
It was like, I felt like I
place in Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's like a big freaking water tower and everything.
Yeah.
And it's compared to, I think it's compared to like, We Need to Talk About Kevin.
The Push and Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Wow.
Like, yeah. Bleakberry.
Damn. Yeah. Oh, the audiobook is performed by AJ Cook from
I was going to say, that sounds familiar. Who is that?
She's the blonde from Criminal Minds.
She's in Final Destination 2.
Okay, well, I guess crisis averted. So the reason I was wondering was because my last one, Gare has a shout out, or Gare's pup has a shout out.
I know. I thought it might be that one too. I avoided it.
So I picked Their Double Lives, the newest Jamie Lynn Hendricks book, which is coming out on May 20th. And I specifically saved this for vacation because, like, to me, she has the perfect, like, poolside reads. And I was so into it, and it was really, really good. And just another one that you can, like, cruise through. I sometimes can be really hit or miss on, like, kind of con artist stories. And this one was a big hit for me. Because if you've read Jamie Lynn Hendricks before, which hopefully you have, she just has like the perfect amount of snark in her, and like a really great voice in her books. So a down on her luck waitress at a posh New Jersey country club, Kim Valva couldn't be living a more different life from the carefree socialites she serves. Her live-in boyfriend recently cheated on her, her social life is in shambles, and her dog needs a life-saving surgery that she can't afford. Then her luck seems to change when a mysterious figure identifying themselves only as the stranger connects with her with an offer she can't refuse. Put a pill in the new member's drink, and when he dies, she'll have enough money to fix her dog and her life. Her target turns out to be Tony Fior, Kim's bad boy ex-boyfriend from high school. 15 years have passed, and now he goes by Anthony Fuller. He's cleaned up, made tens of millions, and his gorgeous fiancée, 22-year-old PJ Walsh, is on his arm. PJ had her own agenda from the second she met Anthony. Find him, trick him, marry him, kill him. It was supposed to be easy. But she finds that while living her double life, the lines blur between who she is and who she's pretending to be. Stunned to see Tony again, Kim can't bring herself to go through with spiking his drink. Instead, it is PJ who dies horrifically at the table, just as dinner ends. Was someone else at the club, member or worker, tasked with poisoning PJ just as she had been instructed to do to Tony? Who would want them both dead? With no one to trust and the stranger to answer to, Kim must peel back the layers of deceit to reveal a deeply buried truth more shocking than she could ever imagine.
I can't wait to read that.
Yeah. I did not even read the synopsis before I started it. And I personally feel like this synopsis could have been like even shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like just like go in and like him struggling
I think somehow I had never read like this entire synopsis, because when you said Kim Valva, I was like, Kim Valva is someone who like had just liked one of my posts in the recent hour. And I was like, wait a second. And so then I just looked it up, and Jamie Lynn Hendricks follows her.
And she must be named after a friend or something.
Yeah, I can't remember if she did a contest for this book is what was going through my mind, where I was like, I can't remember if she did that, where she was like, you could be a character. And I wonder if Kim won it. But like, it has to be. Like, she follows the Kim Valva who like I talk to sometimes. And I'm like, this has to be her. So like, do Gare and Kim Valva show up in this book / Gare / Murphy?
More so Murphy. Cool. I have the book.
Oh yeah, maybe it's in the.
Maybe there's something in there.
Oh, in the acknowledgements, I didn't. Yeah. I don't know if they were on there or if it was TBK. I'm not sure.
Murphy's in the acknowledgements.
Oh,
I could cry.
Okay, you got it then. My dogs are being so weird.
This is definitely one where I would say people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, all the characters are so unlikable." Not all of them, but I'm like, I love it that way.
I don't know if I've ever read a likable character, to be honest.
I know, like I'm just like I love like in a con artist one where there's people that are like kind of seeking. Like it says straight in the synopsis, like there's kind of like some revenge going on. I'm like, oh hell yeah, make them unlikable.
Yeah,
it's like country club folk.
Yeah, especially with hers. Like, just I don't think I've ever read a super likable Jamie Lynn Hendricks character.
Yeah. She says, thank you to Kim Valva, who generously donated to the Arthritis Foundation to be named a character in this book.
Okay, so all of those figments were coming together in my mind as you were reading it. I'll have to look back because you could probably see it dawning on me in the video. Because I was like, huh. And then I was like, okay, I need to look her up. And then I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Kate, you're in the acknowledgements.
Shout out Kim Valva.
Yeah. And honestly, good for Jamie, because there are, out of 79 NetGalley reviews, the average is 5. Or the average at least rounds up to 5.
Wow. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, you're in the acknowledgements.
Yay!
Oh, I made it to the acknowledgements.
That's so awesome.
Well, also, if you guys want to, at KIMVALVA is the character name inspiration.
That's so cool.
I'm pretty sure she's a podcast listener.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
she's commented
it's cool
on
that she was she's literally one of the main characters. It's not like it's a side one or anything. That's super cool.
I'm so excited.
That is cool.
Well,
shout out Kim.
Murphy really comforted Kim a lot in this story.
I just can't wait to read it and compare fictional Murphy to real life Murphy, who can be an emotional terrorist at times.
I think it's like an older, I mean, like if they're having, I think it's like an older version of Murphy.
Oh.
When he grows up and matures.
Yeah. When he's like, he'll be left alone like all day and it's just like, hi mom. Hi,
oh my God, I can't.
Outside.
I can't. I had to leave Murphy alone for an hour one time in the entire time that I've had him. And I was beside myself because I had to go get my hair cut. And I don't know how I didn't get a speeding ticket because I was like,
what did he do? Like, did he do anything naughty?
I literally put him in his crate. Like, he probably just took a nap.
Okay.
And it was an hour. Like, it was literally an hour. And like, when I was like driving home, I just like remember like being like, oh my God, daddy's coming. Like,
yeah. Now I'm at the point where it's like, oh, is it too long to go to Milwaukee for a while? Come back. Just like an hour and a half.
Well, they call them like Velcro dogs, and I'm like, maybe I'm a Velcro dad.
Could be.
It definitely goes both ways with me.
Yeah.
I have a Velcro dog and I'm a Velcro mom.
Yeah.
I'm a cold-hearted, like, get off me. But then also I'm like, oh, Look at you.
I know.
Within 30 seconds of being mad.
That's how I am with men.
Multiple directions.
Maybe same. I don't know. It is interesting. It's my male dog that's like that, because my female's like, whatever, I'll just sleep this whole day, and it's fine if you don't really talk to me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, everybody go read, because my list just grew too.
Same.
Yeah, spring's gonna be good. There's things to look forward to. Ayo.